No,
And
you.
we are live. And we are live. Well, hello and welcome to Traveling and Living in Peru. It is just the Thursday before Halloween, and that's why we're dressed up like monsters here. And together with us today, we have Susana from New York, Harold from Lima, and me also here from Lima, Peru. Thank you so much for joining us, and very, very welcome. First of all, Harold, welcome on board. You're the new boss in our travel section in our agency, and it's great to have you on board. We really look forward to, share all your know-how and experiences, and that's why we invited you today because you are a library of experiences to what people can see, do, and try while they are here in Peru. Welcome, Harold.
Oh, many thanks for your words. Well, as you said, my name is Harold. I have around 14 years in the tourism industry. Well, during all this time, I had really a very nice experience in the industry, like cruises, groups, and different type of travelers that we have like visitors in our country. For me, it's a really nice experience and something really good for me to be back in the tourism. And I am really motivated to do everything in the best way possible. And well, to have happy travelers, visitors here in Peru.
Well, it's good to hear, and that's why you're with us now. I mean, the tourist industry in general have suffered a lot in the last 18 months, but it's good to see that more and more people are looking our way. More people are traveling to Peru. It's wonderful that on Saturday we have had a lot of individual travelers, and on Saturday we received our first group from Europe, 17 brave people. And I say it like that because most of these people are up in their best age, and the oldest guest is 80. And it was great meeting him to hear what his expectations were and how his family had reacted when he told them that he on his own was going to go to Peru, of course, with the group. And he was very excited. And the last word I heard from the guide this morning was that everyone was very happy. They are in the Sacred Valley, and tomorrow they're going to Machu Picchu. So all good news. So that's wonderful. So Harold, I guess you had a lot of time lately to kind of study the trends of what's going to be happening next year. Do you have any do you have any good suggestions to what's going to be hot in 2022?
Well, for me, I think, and I was reading different articles on internet, and something really nice that I read is that people is desperate to travel to South America, and one of the best places in the bucket list of all these people is Peru, and I see, yes, good news for us. Yes, I see. Well, obviously, the first place that people want to visit or want to know is Cusco, and the second one is Lima. No,
Right.
and well, I think it's a very good opportunity to show all the world that Peru is ready to receive visitors, and I think they are going to be very welcome for the people that here are waiting for them. And I recommend to them perhaps first visit Lima and take the opportunity to taste our gastronomy that is one of the best in the world. And after that, well, Cusco, with all the history and the magic that people will feel in that part of our country, I am sure that is going to be a very good experience uh, that I suppose people would like to make one or two times uh, in their life.
Right. I think it's very interesting. I think in particular I read an article that people have become more adventurous. I mean, they have been sitting home, and normally they might fly to the nearest beach or nearest big city, but it seems like a lot of people wants to become the new Indiana Jones and go to explore, see ecology, history, culture, try food that they never tried. And I remember, when reading this article, it was like people say, "Oh, I really want to try special food," and food is, of course, our one and only main, let's say, one of our big attractions. Uh, it's fantastic what we have for people who really, really loves food. Not only do we have two restaurants in the top 10 restaurants in the world, but I can confirm we definitely have 100 more like those. So if one just wants to eat, come down for 3 months and we'll make sure you gain 10 or 20 kilos.
Yes, yes. Gastronomy here in Peru is completely different now. Perhaps if you compare this, perhaps in before or around, or for example, in the past, in 30 years ago, it is not the same like in this moment. So we have restaurants in all over Peru that I am sure that people is going to be really happy just to taste the way that people cook, because it is not
Right.
the same. You can find more than 100 ways to make a ceviche all over the coast. So it is a good experience for people to taste and know the different ways that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Susanna, you had to go back to the US for very special and very good reasons. So, and now you've been away, well, since COVID basically started.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are the three dishes that you misses the most?
Oh my gosh. Well, around here we can find Peruvian food, so I don't. It's not that I haven't eaten, but um, things that are hard is fresh ceviche. Like here, they use a lot of frozen seafood, which is not great. So find like to eat a fresh ceviche like that's made of the catch of the day. That's I really miss that.
Okay.
Um, I also carapulcra. Grew up eating carapulcra, which is using it's kind of an Afro Peruvian dish. My mom makes it all the time, and I miss it because it's really
Sopa
good.
seca.
Could you explain to us what is
Oh yeah,
acapulco? Because a lot of people may not know.
it's dried potatoes cut up into little squares, and then in this sauce made with peanuts. It's and pork. It's really good, and it's typical of southern Lima. So cañete, mala, and it's really good, and you guys should try it. That's the
Oh,
great
of
Very
thing
good.
about
course.
that's the great thing about it, like doing like a gastronomic tour in Lima. You can go to the best restaurants, Central, Maido, but then you'll also have restaurants of different regions of Peru and really good ones. So of northern Peru, of southern Peru. That's the best part of Lima, I think. You
Okay.
can
And
find a
straight
little
from
bit of everything. Oh, probably. Oh my gosh. Um, a lot of places do it, but La Mar makes this chirimoya, dulce de chirimoya. Have you guys had that? It's so
Yes,
good.
yes.
I'm
Fantastic.
gonna
Yes,
say
really,
I'm
really.
pregnant because I feel like my answers are because I'm pregnant. So that's why I'm missing all these things.
all right. And I think that it is really a beauty that also because we have a cold current and a warm current, so we get fresh seafood all year round. We just have to move the fleet of ships to catch the best of the day. And then we have, of course, the whole coastline where we have a lot of agriculture, like in the mountains, more than 3,000 potatoes and quinoa or quinoa, as we call it. And then you have the jungle is full of delicious fruits. So, I mean, we are in a very, very lucky position. So we all know that Machu Picchu is the number one destination for almost anyone traveling to Peru. But Harold, where would you take your wife? You know, if you had to take her to a special place in Peru that is not Machu Picchu, where would you take her?
Well, I would like to come back to Cuelap, that is in Chachapoyas. Chachapoyas is a city that is in the northern part of Peru. Is, for example, from Chiclayo by bus is around 8 hours, and you will find the fortress of Cuelap. That is something similar like Machu Picchu,
Yeah.
but the city is very nice. The altitude is similar like Cusco, but the difference is that you will find a mix up between the jungle and the Andes, and the food it's a kind of different. People is very nice, and well, the experience is very nice because you can take a boat, for example, from Tingo to Cuelap. You can walk around 6 or 7 hours, and you can get to the fortress of Cuelap, and well, you will find the tour guides and that are going to tell you about the history and details that you are going to find or discover is some details about why Incas conquer the Chachapoyas. No, but it's a very good experience.
I totally agree with you. I was there 2.5 years ago for the first time, and it reminded me of visiting Cusco 30 years ago. I mean, it was still unexplored by a lot of international tourists. It's more national tourists. More and more international tourists is finding their way to get there. It is beautiful. It's clean. A lot of possibilities to trek, and the trip itself to go to Cuelap is extraordinary. I mean, it's really fantastic. They have this, what do you call it, like
Yeah,
what
the
is it called? The one that takes you up there. Come on, Susana, help me out.
I know it
Um,
in Spanish, but not in English.
what is it
Ah,
in? Tell me in Spanish, and I'll find out.
Um,
teleférico.
that's what.
Yeah, Teleférico. So basically, it will, and it's a beautiful ride. Teleférico is like small cabins that is hanging on the string. Fuck, I don't, sorry, my language. I can't remember what the word is in
Cable
English.
cars, cable
Huh?
cars.
Cable
Cable
cars,
cars,
yes.
cable cars,
Yeah,
cable
cable cars.
cars.
Anyway,
Right.
so this trip is like unique in the sense that it takes about 25 to 30 minutes to go up there, and you have this beautiful, amazing view over the valley. And then you get up to the top, and you go up there, and you see all these houses that was built, which is all round, and the alpacas moving in and out between, as you say, and then the food is, again, it's not gourmet food. It is like homemade cooking in almost every restaurant, like it should be, and it's so reasonable price that it's almost embarrassing to go in and eat and just pay whatever you pay for it, because it's just so good. And I remember I had a soup, and it's probably the best soup I ever had in Peru. And I went out in the kitchen. I said, "Who made the soup?" And this lady says, "Me." "You're going to back to Lima with me." And she said, "My husband won't allow me." "Okay, give me the recipe." But it was like fantastic destination. I really know. Susanna, where would you go?
I definitely, before COVID, my friend Agnes and I, our former editor wanted to go to Chachapoyas. That was the one place we wanted to go. But depends on, because I've never been. I've only
Yeah.
been as far as Paucartambo and Cusco. That's it.
Okay.
So
Well,
we keep
when you
those
come
little.
back, we'll take you there
When you
again.
come back, you are going to go to the Paucartambo festival. That is, I
Yeah.
suppose, this year is going to be okay in June, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yes.
it's a crazy. I went there. It's like nonstop partying.
Right.
Yes, too much beer. Yes, I know.
Oh my God. You
Yeah.
know from
Well,
experience.
yeah. I think another place, well, that is very close to my heart is the Amazonas. I I I have gone to Iquitos quite a few times, and there's something special about arriving to Iquitos. First, of course, the humidity that hits you, it's so hot,
Yes.
and then you go into the river, and there's something magical about this river and the pink dolphins and the piranhas and all the storytelling from from the jungle. Um, and I remember one time where I went. It started raining, which of course does in the rainforest. But what I didn't imagine was that I was standing there in 30 degrees, and then came the rain, and it was so cold. This water was so cold that we had to go into the river while it rained, because if not, we were frozen. I mean, we were wearing t-shirts and shorts, but of course the rain comes from the sky, and was so cold, so we had to go into the river. But and then swimming around the Amazon River is also something special. It's this sweet water, and it's very wonderful. So that's another good thing to put on your to-do list if you haven't already been
And you've
here.
done the cruise?
Yeah, I did the cruise. We went 3 or 4 years ago, and it was like 4 days, 3 nights, which is perfect to go to some of the national parks, and then the cruise ship parks, let's say in the Amazon River, and then you take small boats and you go into the smaller rivers where you will see all the birds and the alligators and and the pumas, and so there's so much wildlife to enjoy. And it's amazing how much of today's medicine is also based on the plants coming from the Amazon jungle. And still there are two or
Right.
three research centers in Iquitos. There's also in the south research centers to find new plants that can save our lives, or make us have a better life in the future.
Yeah.
Yes, if you talk about plants here in the local markets in Lima, you can find different plants from Iquitos, Puerto Maldonado that are really good. People use them.
Yes, natural medicine is by
Yeah.
far the best medicine, and it's funny, because Diane Bowie from DV Peru was just in Iquitos, and they visit. I think they visit like 60 small towns where they come with nurses and doctors to see how people are, and in general, they said we have all had COVID, no one died, and those who felt bad, they had like this homemade medicine from plants. And one of them I remember was like a honey, where they put in certain leaves or seeds from a, and no one died in most of these communities, because they just took the natural medicine. So really good to hear. It was different in the city of Iquitos. Many people, unfortunately, lost their lives due to lack of oxygen. But outside in the small places, they were good to protect themselves.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah,
I suppose it was a very good experience for you.
right.
I,
So, Harold,
I
any recommendations for people who are planning a trip for 2022? What should they put on the agenda? I mean, one thing is to see Cusco, the Sacred Valley, Machu Picchu, go with the train. What are the 10 things that most people do not know about that people should try, in your opinion?
Well, for me, first is that if you are planning to travel to Peru, at least consider to spend 1 day in Lima and try to explore a bit more about restaurants, but not only the top 10 restaurants that all the world knows, but perhaps go local, no, and perhaps do it that way. And I am sure that people are going to get a different experience of perspective about what is Lima. Then in Cusco, for example, if you are in the Sacred Valley, and if you like a little bit of adventure, please take a biking tour and explore the Sacred Valley that way. And I am really sure this is going to be a really different experience about the Andes. So this is something very nice. And in Cusco, well, gastronomy in Cusco in this moment is really, really different, and you can find different type of foods, Japanese, Chinese, fusion, barbecue, or something like this. In Cusco, for example, you can go to the San Black district and you can have a really nice experience. Discover that Cusco is a very cosmopolitan city, and you will discover very nice details about the nights of Cusco.
Right. So, one of my favorite things to eat when I'm in Cusco, and I haven't seen it in Lima yet, is the alpaca burger. Have you tried it, and what do you think about it?
No, it is delicious. Alpaca meat, it's something that in the past only people from the Andes used to have in lunch or dinner. It is
Right.
not very common in the coast, for example,
We'll do
but
the
in the past,
ceviche. Yeah.
yes. Well, in the coast only, well, we know ceviche or something like this, but not alpaca meat.
Right.
But it is a very good meat. It is delicious.
Yeah. Well, I always recommend it. First of all, it's very low on fat. It's almost zero cholesterol, and it has a great flavor, and it suits perfectly inside a bun with all your favorite add-ons to it, and then with some good local potato fries. And as I mentioned before, more than 3,000 potatoes. So you will definitely try potatoes and fries, made in a different way than at home. So out in the Sacred Valley, you were talking about bicycling. What other activities do you recommend? Paddling, horseback
For
riding? What?
example,
What?
paddle surf in the lagoon Purai, that is very near from Maras, and it is very nice. Or perhaps kayak or paddle surf in that lagoon is a very good experience. After that, you
Right.
can have a lunch or a picnic lunch, and you are going to have a very nice experience because um, the nature and the lagoon is very nice or are very nice. So I recommend that activity in the Sacred Valley.
Super. Well, something that most people would love to try to feel like Indiana Jones is the Inca Trail and other trails in that area, because the Inca Trail is beautiful, fantastic, amazing, but there are other Inca trails because all the trails up there was built by the Incas. Which other two trails do you think would be a wow experience for our travelers?
Well, for example, Umantay Lagoon, for example, this is one of the treks that we usually recommend to them. It is around of 8 hours of trekking, and it's very nice because you are going to be in the middle of the Andes and are in the same path to the Salcantay. So it is not exactly the same distance of the Salcantay because it's something smaller, but you are going to have a very nice experience, and all the things you are going to see in the middle of the Andes are going to produce that you have a very nice experience.
Many people are asking, can I do it? Because we have to be aware, it's not like at 100 meters above sea level. It's between 2,500 and 4,000 meters. Um, what should how should people check themselves to find out if they are fit for this? Do you have any tips for that?
The first is the recommendation would be perhaps if you can talk to your physician if it's a good idea, and after that if you feel that you are okay, just a day before to go to that place, drink a lot of water, not eat too much, and just go slowly, and
Right.
you are going to do it.
Right. And we should also mention that the only thing that you carry is a bottle of water and your camera. The rest, the porters will take care of, so you can really enjoy it and not be exhausted all the time, but just enjoy the beautiful view. And if you're lucky, watch some hummingbirds and orchids that you can find along the way. Um, all right, Susanna, do you have something you want to add before we tie it up for today?
Nothing. I'm just dreaming of the Lake Burai. It looks so peaceful. I want to go there.
It
And there's
definitely
Yes,
lots
we
is.
to
can
do.
we can go together and just get into the lagoon and maybe paddle surf.
That would be cool. That would be a
Yeah.
good first time for me. No waves. I don't have to be
Well,
scared of you.
the first question is, you know swimming?
Yes, I do. I won't drown. Don't worry.
I'll be there to save you. Don't worry. But apropos waves, I many times people forget that Peru is one of the best destinations for surf. We have several beaches along the coast where surfers from all around the world is arriving, and we also have what we call beginner waves. So if anybody wants to learn how to surf, they don't need to go neither up to the north or to the south. Actually, on the beach of Lima, anyone can learn to surf, and I think it's a very fun activity to try it out. And then hopefully, it gets you, and then we can take you up to the north of Peru, where some of the best waves in the world is for surfing. So that's another plus to add on the to-do list once you get to Peru. But with that, I think thank you very much, Harold, not only for being here today, thank you for joining Traveling and Living in Peru to share your knowledge, to service our guests. If you out there have a dream about going to Peru, allow us to help you. We will be happy to assist you to make sure you get the best possible experience to get the best of Peru. Thank you very much and have a nice time.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
bye. Have a nice time, and you are welcome to Peru.